Alright, hello everybody. Welcome back to another great video. And this one will be just a little bit different than what we've been doing. Just bear with me here. Trust me when I say this will be a good one. This will be pretty important too, I think. You know, the weekend is coming up, and I just want to throw something out there. If you guys are looking for a good movie to maybe rent and see, I have something for you. But before I tell you exactly what it is, let me just do a quick little intro here. You know, look, times are crazy. They just are. You don't have to be an Einstein to figure that out. We're all feeling the effects of, well, a lot of things. But especially we're dealing with the aftermath, and in some ways we're still very much in the throes of the C word. Do I even need to go down that route? Do we even need to say it? 2020. That's all I need to say. You guys can fill in the blanks from there. We're still feeling the effects from that in a lot of big ways, and it doesn't look like it's quite over just yet. So wild times and crazy times looks like they're still ahead. I can't say for certain what, but I just think that now, especially now more than ever, is a good time for a little introspection. It's a good time for us to do some thinking. And you know, every once in a while, a good film is really good for that sort of thing. And that's the subject of today. If you're looking for a good movie to rent, here's one you should definitely check out. Major one produced very recently, called I Still Believe. I Still Believe. 3 words. And it is a movie based on the true life story of Jeremy Camp, who is a singer, songwriter, and producer. All right, who's Jeremy Camp? Jeremy Camp is actually a name I know, and I'd be surprised if some of you actually didn't know that name. Big guy. He's a Christian singer, songwriter, and producer, and I've been listening to him for a couple of years now, off and on. Some, but I've always enjoyed his music. I've always enjoyed that kind of grungy-ish voice that he had. You know, I've always enjoyed his style. His lyrics are really good too, although I've always thought they were a little, how do I put it? His lyrics are very happy, let me just say that. They focus a lot on joy, on hope, and heaven. There's a lot of his lyrics deal with heaven. Now, surprisingly, I never bothered to look into his story. That's a little surprising for me because I like to know everything and everything. But to my surprise, I never actually checked out his story. I guess I just assumed by listening to his music and being fairly familiar with his discography and whatnot, that he was just this happy-go-lucky guy. I mean, how else could you write music like that, right? You're just a happy person. Life's just been great for you. Man, it must be great to be you. At least you put out good music. Well, as it turns out, I'd be quite wrong in my assessment. I Still Believe is titled after what was probably his biggest hit. And as it turns out, it follows his story as a very young singer and songwriter. And for him, life did look like it was going to be quite good. You know, he was still a Christian at the time when he began. He's been, I guess, a Christian. He's one of those all-your-life Christians, you know, born and raised in that sort of thing, and continued in that as a young adult. Well, he got married fairly young to, I guess you could say, as he always put it, the woman of his dreams. I mean, everything just looked great. He had a decent career ahead of him. He's doing what he loves. He's with who he loves. And then terrible, terrible tragedy happened. Literally, just months after marrying his wife, she died in a terrible way. I believe it was due to a brain tumor or brain cancer. I believe. Don't quote me on that. I may have gotten that wrong. But he literally, no sooner than he married her, had to literally watch her die on a hospital bed for weeks before she actually died. And for Jeremy, that was something that just demoralized him and just about destroyed him. Emotionally, mentally, it just destroyed him. He didn't deal well with that at all. Mind you, this is the guy who would later come to write songs with such wonderful lyrics about hope and heaven and joy. Let's bear this in mind. And the film follows the story of that. And I don't want to give you too much away because I really think, honest to God, just feel like you guys should just go watch it for yourself and really see his journey. And it's a very beautiful one. I promise you. I don't care how tough you think you are. I don't care how cold you are. You're going to be moved. And I promise you at least 99% of you will weep at some point. You're going to cry, and it's okay. Just get over it, okay? It's what makes us people, all right? We're emotional. It's what we do. But it's a very heart-rending story. Anyway, remember, this is the man with such beautiful lyrics about hope and joy and heaven. Bear that in mind as you continue through that. Well, obviously you can tell towards the end of the film, Jeremy is able to resolve his faith with the tragedy, of course. And he emerged much stronger than before. And he's doing very well today, just in case you were wondering. But I do think this is one of those times, again, if you're looking for a movie to rent, definitely rent this one. I would recommend it. You can rent it anywhere if you're wondering, anywhere. But this is one of those films that should make us really pause to consider about the things that happen to us. Now, I sincerely hope nothing like what happened to Jeremy happens to you. But it does happen. It happened to another famous person, Keanu Reeves. Yeah, he had to deal with a tragedy like that. Although in his case, I must say, he didn't respond to it with quite the faith or the strength that Camp did. And that's all I'll say on the matter. It can happen to anyone, is what I'm trying to say. Rich, poor, famous, not. That's why I brought up that example. It can happen to anybody. It's not just us. It's anyone. But we ourselves have had to deal with a lot. Remember what we just brought up? The C word, 2020, the effects, the aftermath. The throes we're very much in the middle of. There's a lot we're dealing with right now. And it is radically, in some cases, radically changed the way we live our daily lives, the way we relate to our friends and our family. Guys, it ain't been easy. And it doesn't look like it's going to get all that much easier anytime soon anyway. This is a very good time for us to really think and really think hard about our lives, especially in the perspective of eternity. You know what would be a really good thing for you to do right now? Take a minute, go YouTube or Spotify or iHeartRadio or wherever you guys listen to music on. Go check out Jeremy Camp's music. I'm serious. I still believe there will be a day. Check out some of those songs. Check out some of his music. I want you to ask yourself, could you have gone through the torment that he went through and come out on top the way he did? And by the way, this is not one of those movies. It's not a Rocky Balboa thing where he's just so tough and strong and we should all aspire to be like him. Jeremy had to rely on someone bigger than himself. And unlike the C word, I am going to mention this specifically, he had to rely on God. Yes, he had to rely on the faith, on his Bible, the faith he was brought up on. He had to rely on God to get him through that. Otherwise, well, as Jeremy himself has related many years later, he would not be the man that he is today. It's a very serious thing. So, my question to you is, look, there's a lot that's going to happen to us in the next couple of years. We need that foundation, that bedrock, that thing that you can rely on. Remember what Jeremy said. If it wasn't for God, if it wasn't for his faith in the Bible, he wouldn't have come out on top the way he has today. He said he would have remained destroyed. He said it would have utterly destroyed him. Let's never forget that. That's why this film, and this is why I recommend that you see it. It's why his story is so impactful. And that's the question it should reverberate back to us. Okay, this is the question we should be asking of ourselves. Where in our lives do we have that? Where do we have that solid foundation, that solid assurance? Not that everything's going to be okay. Because, I mean, let's face it, maybe not everything will be okay as we see it. But we do need to consider our lives, especially in the perspective of eternity. I know that's, some people say it's an old-fashioned term, but you know what I say? Some old-fashioned term should be brought back today. All right? That's what I say to that. The reality is we're all going to die. That's another thing this film, I hope, will cause you to realize. You're going to die. How are you going to deal with that? Because, especially as laid out in the Bible, this life ain't all there is to it. There's more. Like way more. Death is just the beginning. It's the famous quote we all know. Well, I got news for you. That came from the Bible originally. Just letting you know. That's where it comes from. It is just the beginning. It's just where everything starts. There's a life after this life, an afterlife, if you will. Okay? What's going to happen to you? Because as the Bible makes it very clear, look, we can debate the semantics of this. We can debate exactly how this takes place. But here's what's not up for debate. There's a place called heaven, and there's a place called hell. One place you really want to go to, another place you really don't want to go to. Okay, that's the stripped down basic phonics version of it, okay? There's a lot more to it than that, but that's the undebatable part right there. We can't have any disagreement about that. And based on how we live our lives here will determine our eternal destiny. Okay? Let that just sink in for a second. That's why I said it a little slower. Really let that sink in. So again, I really hope you see the movie. I hope you listen to Jeremy Camp's music because he's a great musician. He really is super talented. I really like him. But I want you to listen to his music and not just listen to it for entertainment purposes. I want you to listen to his music in light of what I just told you, of everything he went through. Okay? That's what I want you to do. And I want you to ask yourself those same questions he had to ask and that he had to wrestle. Because one day we're all going to wrestle with something like that, if you haven't already. Okay? So, where are you going? The life choices you are making now, whatever they are, look, I ain't perfect, okay? I'm not here to judge you. I swear. I'm not a spiritual guru. I can't stand people who position themselves that way. Just so you know. Just like you. I've made my own mistakes, but I'm just saying, whatever your life choices may be, can you honestly say that they are the right ones? And what are the right ones? That's not for me to tell you, but I tell you where you can find that. Go crack open a Bible, if you haven't done it recently, or ever. By the way, it's more available than it's ever been. There's some fantastic Bible apps. Any of them will do, okay? All free. You can read it online if you don't feel like downloading it. It's everywhere. Go read it. And that's where it tells you what we must do. That's where the right choices are laid out. And there's a lot more to it than that. I'm just giving you guys the basic version, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. I want you guys to really think about this for yourself. How are you going to deal with these difficult times that we've been through, that we're about to go through? How are you going to deal with that? Do you have that faith, the kind of faith that Jeremy Camp had that kept him from becoming destroyed? Do you understand what I'm saying? He said if it wasn't for God, he would have been nothing but a crater by the time it was all over. Do you have that kind of faith? And does your life choices, are they the right ones that will get you into heaven where you will live forever? Because I don't want to see anybody die, you know? Okay, in the presence of the Creator himself. It's a very serious thing. Does it? And if it doesn't, look, it's okay. I mean, well, it's not okay, but I'm just saying, it's okay for you to just admit that to yourself, so at least you can start to resolve that. You understand what I'm saying? Read the Bible. It has everything you need to know, right there. Plain English. Rent the movie, listen to the music, read your Bible. Really ask yourself these questions. That's why I recommend this film to you. I really hope it causes you to think of these things. Thank you guys for watching this video. I know it's a little more serious, but hey, we need that, okay? We need a little more seriousness every once in a while to really think introspectively, deeply. It's very important, okay? And I just say this because I legitimately care for every single person out there, okay? I really do. That's the point of this. So thanks again. I really do hope to see you guys on the next video and in the next life as well. So thanks, guys.